Hello everyone and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today in this video we are going to discuss the explanation of the poem Cold Within. So let's start with the first. The first stanza says, 6 humans trapped by happenstance in dark and bitter cold. Each possessed a stick of wood, or so the story is told. Now let's see the explanation of this. The poet begins the stanza with a situation in which 6 humans are put in a situation of the trap, and this has happened by chance. The poet reflects their situation of trouble with black and bitter, indicating the adverse, chilling, cold weather situation. The poet continuously uses the word humans, reflecting them as 6 different individuals rather than a united group. These 6 figures are painted with a stick in each hand, symbolizing their individual characters and as well as their lease of life upon the condition of how they act with those. Now moving to second stanza. Their dying fire in need of logs, but the first one held hers back, for of the faces around the fire she noticed one was black. Now the situation turns dramatic as they are put around a dying fire, which needs the addition of fuel to it to survive. And it so happened that they all had a log of wood. The wise understanding would be to add to the fuel to survive and get saved. But the contrary happened. We get to see the first to decide not to add his log of wood to the dying fire. He does so because he got to see a black sitting around the fire. He was racially prejudiced. He did not want the black man to be benefited with his log of wood. Now moving to third stanza. The next one looked across the way, saw one not of his church, and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. This stanza shows the bitter side of religious intolerance. The second man got to see a person in the group who did not belong to his religious faith, so he decided not to add his log of wood as it would benefit the man of the different religious order. Now moving to stanza 4. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use? To warm the idle rich. Now let's see the explanation of it. In this stanza, we get to see a poor person who was in torn, ragged and tattered clothes. He was at a point of view where he was not to be in the same tune with the rich. So he gave a hitch to his clothes, means tightened his clothes, reflecting mean thought. He reflects his distaste and hatred for the idle rich. Now let's move to the fifth stanza. The rich man just sat back and thought of wealth he had in store, and keeping all that he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. This stanza reflects the contrary thought to that of the previous stanza. Here is the rich man with his own mean reflection. He kept on thinking about the wealth he had in his store and how to protect that sum of wealth from the shiftless, means devoid of ambition, such poor people. Now moving to sixth stanza. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his side, for he saw in his stick of wood a chance to spite the white. Now let's see the explanation. This stanza is coined by the poet to reflect the action of revenge. As previously, the white man showed his racial hatred and did not as his stick of wood. Now, the black man found a way to return the jab. He considered his not adding the stick to the fire as an act of revenge. Now let's move to the seventh stanza. And the last man of his forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving just to those who gave was how he played the game. This stanza reflected how the last man decided to react to the previous 5 people who decided to stay in negative. The last man too thought of his gain. His policy was to give and help those who do the same. Here the poet has used deliberately the term foreign group, meaning their situation of being lonely as they could not write them to the requirement of the situation. Now let's move to the 8th stanza. Their stakes held tight in death's still hands was proof enough of sin. They did not die from cold without, they died from cold within. In the stanza, the poet shows all of the 6 met their end because of their personal prejudices and mean thoughts. They all clutched to their eyes, epitomizing the human sin difficult to forgive. Though the cold weather could have been the reason for their death, they did not die because of the cold outside. Rather, they died for the coldness, the lack of tolerance and human sympathy they had inside them. So this is all about the poem The Cold Within. Now we will meet again in the next video. Till then, make sure to like the video and subscribe our channel. Thank you.